Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome, everybody, to our NHL playoff preview show from Trainwreck Sports, brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. I am joined by Producer Steve of Two Goalies, One Mic. A lot has happened. We got two big games on tap tonight. No elimination opportunities here for either team. We have the Leafs going against the Habs. The Leafs up ahead in that series 2-1. An absolute goaltending battle last night between Jack Campbell and Carey Price. As much as I dislike the Leafs, I am a Jack Campbell fan. Love me, hate me, I don't care. And then obviously we have the Nashville Predators all knotted up at 2 games apiece with the Carolina Hurricanes. Steve, what are your thoughts going into these games tonight and the playoffs so far?
Well, for tonight, I gotta be honest, even though I'm gonna be live tweeting the Toronto Habs game, I'm a little bit more interested in the outcome of what happens in Nashville, Carolina. And I'm always one to root for the underdog. But I just remember the push that Nashville made a couple years back. And it seemed like if there was going to be a year, they were buzzing. I want to say that was like the 2018 series.
Yep.
They were pushing, like when the Smashville stuff really started to take off, catfish for days. I'm like every postseason after that has kind of been like, it kind of like reignites that little fire in my heart from like that one season where they were like really, really good. And a lot of those same players are still there. But like, some of the pieces that used to be a part of that equation have gone on to bigger and better things or just, faded out. But ultimately, again, I got to be honest, I'm a bad hockey fan. I haven't been watching as much Canadian hockey this year as I should have been. I was suffering with the Sabres and seeing how they would ebb and flow, mostly just ebb all year. But
right.
but that said, it is nice. I want an end to the Toronto gets knocked out in the first round jokes. Part of me because I want to be a little bit of a sadist because I want to see them like make it past that first round hurdle and then immediately get decimated by the Winnipeg Jets. But also just because I think a Toronto-Winnipeg series in the second round is infinitely more interesting hockey than the outcome of Winnipeg and Montreal. So that said, as much as I don't care for the Leafs, I would prefer to see them advance to the next round because that's going to be a way more compelling series to watch than Montreal, who's kind of scratching the bottom of the same barrel that we scratched at the beginning of the season in acquiring Eric Stahl at the deadline.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but if that's who you're relying on for center depth, you might be in trouble, especially if you're in the postseason.
Especially, when we thought here in Buffalo bringing in Eric Stahl was going to solve all our problems. Actually, it's quite the opposite. The thing that was going to solve all our problems was, having a change of head coach from the start of the season. No, I've enjoyed this Toronto Montreal series. The only thing that depresses me about it is the fact that there are no fans, because that is probably two hockey teams' fan bases that hate each other's guts with an utmost passion. I can't even hold a candle to that with my hatred towards the Leafs, because they're like literally, you hear Craig Gervais talk on the Instigators about how like when he played with Montreal playing in Toronto, you had to get like personal escorts if you were walking through the arena because fans might try and attack you. It was that bad. So I just wish there were fans in the stands, because I think it would bring a lot of, we've seen what it's been like. You've seen what it was like down in Florida, with fans down there.
It's
like
insane.
It brings a different type of electricity to the game and the atmosphere that surrounds it. It really is, something to be, watch. It's so much fun. And, it's just a shame that, with a series and two teams that haven't played in forever, literally, there are no fans in the stands to enjoy that.
That is pretty disappointing. I mean, just on that first goal by Mark Stone last night in Vegas, that full house popped like Stone Cold just broke the glass and drove down the aisle with a fucking beer truck. It was it's like Vegas had never seen a live event before. It was that kind of energy, and like it does feel pretty deflating to have what is a legendary series in Canada right now just literally being played to deaf ears. There's no one there to. A tree fell in the forest, and there was no one there to hear it.
Yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks, man. I wish that again it was different. Again, with the way things have been, you see how electric some of these arenas have been with the fans in attendance, and it really brings back those memories, especially watching in Nashville. His name escapes me. He used to play for the Bills, a lineman. We all saw it. Him chugging beers with other players from the team.
Oh yeah. That guy.
Yes. And had his kid with him. It was just a sight to behold. It really takes you back to those great days, being a Sabres fan, party in the plaza, how fun it was just to be a Sabres fan. And it stinks, man. It really does stink to see that, we haven't had that type of an atmosphere and fan experience and just hockey that matters, games that matter in over a decade.
Yeah, at this point, even once we do get fans back in the building, it's not even going to have that same kind of like electric energy. I mean, maybe the first few games of next season, once like I don't know what the capacity plans for KeyBank Center are going to be in the fall, but it's going to kind of feel more like a group therapy session in a church basement rather than a celebration of your favorite team. It's just like, hey man, let's just get this over with, brother.
Let's get it over with. Yeah, it stinks.
It is nice. I for those who don't know, I live in Philly. I've never lived in Buffalo, but I've been to like a small handful of Sabres games. One they've lost miserably, and the other one they won spectacularly. Yep. And it's nice to be in a room of like 10,000 people that are all just as sad as you are for the exact same reason. Like that kind of community, it actually is very uplifting and embrace. Just like everyone in that room is just like, yeah, I know, man. I get it.
And, tonight, obviously we mentioned pre-show before we came on live. It has been announced that Adam Brooks and Travis Dermott will enter the lineup tonight for Toronto, while Jack Campbell starts again in his back-to-back nights. Very interesting, again, to see if Jack Campbell can have just as much of a strong performance tonight as he did last night. I think the Leafs have found their franchise goalie. I think they found him. And I sent Steve Dangle a text last night, and I said, good for you guys. You finally found the guy that's really, as much as there's like, a love-hate, maybe love relationship with Freddie Anderson, like Jack Campbell has done everything he's needed to do to prove that he can be the guy going forward, and pass the torch on to him to be the goaltender of the future for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And you know what? Good for them. Good for them. They've had questions probably, honestly, in net for such a long time, going back to Curtis Joseph, which is wild. If you think about it, it's taken that long. But, good for them. I'm happy they figured it out. I'm happy they got that.
I completely agree. Sabres have been having the same, pretty much since Ryan Miller walked out the door. Like, we've had a goalie identity crisis too. Like, we haven't found that guy. And, again, I'm not as like in depth on the Leafs game as I ought to be the one with a microphone in front of his face. But that's it. It is good to see like that in this series. He's getting that confidence. He's getting that swagger. He's like proving that he can do it.
Yep.
Against a team that is nowhere near as strong as Winnipeg. And I think just the confidence of having been that goaltender that finally breaks that vicious cycle of getting eliminated in the first round, I really think that kind of confidence is going to be able to elevate his game when he does play against a much more formidable opponent in Winnipeg, if that's the way this series plays out. And it really is a goalie battle. It's like, can Carey Price maintain his legacy, or is that legend, is the final chapter of that legend being written in real time? It's tough to say. I mean,
it is
Carey
wild.
Price is on. Carey Price is on.
Let's talk about that for a second real quick. How about the Oilers getting swept by Winnipeg? Nobody saw that coming.
Not a sweep. Like, I did expect Winnipeg to win because they're just they're a more well-rounded team, and Connor Hellebuck has been on a heater.
Well, Connor, I said
I
said this before the series, that in order for them to win this series, because they were an underdog, they were an underdog. In order for them to win the series, Connor Hellebuck needs to be the Vezina form goaltender we know he can be, because in my opinion, that is the only way you are stopping Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And sure enough, it happens.
Yeah.
105 points in 56 games. Like, he owned the Jets this season. I don't know.
He owned the majority of the Canadian division.
Yeah.
Like, is Matthews the next closest player, or is it Draisaitl just because he's like sharing a line with him? Okay, you know what? Once again, I'm the underdog guy. I want Minnesota to be the team from the West that goes as far as
they've been a fun team to watch. They have been a fun team to watch.
It's nice it's like that same feeling I had about Nashville like 3-4 years ago. Like, if there's gonna be a year, this is the year.
Yeah.
Like, they're not a perfect team, but they're playing like a team that, wants the win more than anybody else on the ice. Like, and to play that strong against a team that's just as well-rounded as Vegas, like that's scary. Like, I don't care what team you are, if you have to face them in the next round. If Minnesota outdoes Vegas, like, I don't want to face them.
Yeah, I mean, Fleury, the year Fleury has been surreal, man. Like, at his age, to be playing the way he is. Obviously, I'm repping my Vegas Golden Knights. Marc-Andre Flower Power jersey. I don't know if anybody can see it.
They can see it.
Yeah,
don't worry.
But my cord here is a little short for my headphones, so I can't fully turn around. But
gotta get the extender, bro.
I know.
Step up your game.
But listen, it's fun to see Marc-Andre Fleury have fun out there and just be the goaltender he's always been, especially in the playoffs, man. The guy's been a wall.
Especially after that whole storyline last season where he basically felt like there was a knife in his back, because it's just like, okay,
yeah,
my franchise just doesn't want to start me. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, right.
And then I had no idea my agent posted that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just like Julio Jones had no clue he was on live audio yesterday.
Sure, you're
undisputed.
Sure,
no clue. Yeah.
Your agent knows exactly how many craps you take a day because that's what his job is, but you don't know that he shared that meme. Come on, man.
Jerry Maguire, like the one character from Jerry Maguire. It's my job to know all this about you. Like it's a fact, though. It's a fact. So again, that's been a fun series to watch. Again, Flower Power, carrying the load for Vegas. I do think Vegas comes out of that series, though. Unfortunately, I know that
they are the stronger team. The odds are in their favor.
Yes. The Florida Panthers Tampa Bay series has easily, hands down, without a doubt, been the most exciting series of the playoffs, which is surprising to say because it's the Florida Panthers. But the carousel in net for Florida alone has been entertaining. I personally never thought they should have went away from Bobrovsky after game one. I didn't think Bobrovsky played bad enough to warrant getting yanked.
I thought he had the start in the second, but then it was Drieger in the third.
Drieger, and then he got the next game. Drieger, did Drieger start game 3?
I want to say Bob had the first 2, then Drieger got one.
Are you sure? Lost. I could have swore Drieger got the second game.
I mean, I thought, Florida won that first game. No, wait, shit. No, they didn't.
No, they did not.
Oh, yeah, it was super close and tons of scoring, but then eventually the Lightning did overcome, yeah. So, they would have made that goalie change, you're right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Drieger had game 2.
And
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just thinking out loud, but Spencer Knight last night, he lets in the first goal. First shot against him,
not looking good right away.
Playoff jitters. I'd be scared if I was if I was 20 years old trying to do anything on national television in front of 10,000 people. Like, even if it was just like pick my nose.
Oh, you're
I'd
terrified.
Be
terrified. Terrified.
And like this kid, 4 games in the NHL before starting in arguably one of the most important games of his young career. Easily.
Yeah, it was Chris Drieger in game 2. I believe he had game 3 as well, I want to say.
And then Bob back on 4?
Yep, and then Bob got the yank. But that's the thing with the mindset of a goaltender is when you're given the yank when you don't think you should have been, and then you have that little bit of a layoff in between games, and then you're going into a situation where it's like, well, what the hell, man? Why did you wait till now to go back to me? Being
It
a
messes
goaltender
with your head.
being a goaltender, it's so much different mentally than any. Honestly, the only other position in all of sports, I've said this a few times, that it can be remotely compared to is pitching in baseball, because the game can be won or lost from your performance alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit all
A forward or a defenseman can have a bad shift, go back to the bench. Coach pumps their tires back up, goes back out there, have a better shift.
Or if goalie, you just get benched.
Yeah, goalie could in literally 5 shots let 4 goals in, and then your team's down 4-0, and your team's looking like yo, like what the hell? And it's a fact, man. It's a fact. It's a different animal being in that. But that series, man, has been so much fun to watch, and between Barkov and Huberdeau, for Florida, hopefully, obviously, I'm assuming we'll see Spencer Knight here again. In this next game,
I'd be hard pressed to see why they would possibly give him the yank after that performance.
Well, again, maybe they have a goalie in the ECHL they want to take a look at, bring him up from the taxi squad, because they played 3 goaltenders in one play. They've played 3 goaltenders in one series. That's insanity.
I mean, I understand that.
And mind you, none of it had to do one single time with an injury. There were no injuries involved. They just played 3 goaltenders.
Maybe they'll all get the flu at the same time. Maybe they'll all get food poisoning from the same seafood joint. I don't know. And then maybe that scenario will play itself out. But I do hope it's Spencer Knight in Game 6, because
I'd assume
if that kid could steal the series away from the defending Cup champions, that dude is paid for life.
36 saves, man. It's just
that's. I mean, that's impressive stuff. I mean, Calm Talbot made a ton of saves even in the games that he lost. It was like saves in the 40s, and I didn't see Cam Talbot holding under that kind of pressure. But he's been holding it down.
Hornquist has been an absolute an absolute stud for them. Probably their best free agency signing, without doubt. Obviously, Verhaeghe has contributed. Duclair has contributed. It's just been a ton of fun to watch that team perform the way it has. And I thought I'd never say that about the Florida Panthers. But again, this is Tampa Bay's series to lose. They do have probably the best hockey team on paper in the world. So we'll see what happens there.
It's definitely the most expensive.
Oh, yeah, $10 million over the cap. That's another team, too, that's got to fix some issues, come the offseason. There's no way they're bringing back that same team.
Eventually got to balance those books, especially in flat cap.
And there's a player on that team, in my opinion, is a UFA. I've said it a few times. Blake Coleman.
I know.
Big fan of his. Fan of his. If you can convince him to play Buffalo, maybe overpay for him a little bit. He's the type of player this team needs in Buffalo for sure. But predictions for tonight, Steve. Obviously, again, we got Nashville and Carolina, and the later game, and then we have starting here very shortly. We have Toronto and the Habs. What are your predictions?
Well, at least in Carolina and Nashville, where are they playing?
Carolina and Nashville? Where are they playing? Do you know?
I don't know.
That is a great question. I'll tell you right now.
Because they have fans. Yeah. So it does affect
in
a close series like this. Both of those fan bases, it's a hard room to play in on the road.
They are.
Nashville is loud.
At Carolina.
Carolina is a passionate room too.
Yeah.
I think Nashville just got that last win, so just by a hair, I think Nashville is going to try to build on that momentum of having won that last game. And I'm going to say Nashville just to try to get that upset, but ultimately, I think at the end of that series, Carolina will be the ones that prevail. But tonight, I think might belong to Nashville just to make it interesting.
Nashville's definitely the underdog for this series. Saros has played very well.
Oh yeah, Saros has been lights out. He's been great.
Absolutely lights out. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Again, another team I thought I'd never enjoy watching play playoff hockey is the Carolina Hurricanes for obvious reasons. They broke my heart in 2006. I still think to this day this was a Stanley Cup that was stolen away from Buffalo due to a freak staph infection from Jay McKee, who I think recently Derek Roy was interviewed. Jay McKee considered, even though a doctor told him that there's a chance that he would lose his leg if he played that night, Jay McKee considered playing with that staph infection in games. Was it Game 7?
Oof.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, a leg can be replaced, but a cup is forever.
I love that. I love that.
There are prosthetic limbs, dude. There is no prosthetic cup.
I love that mindset. I love it. No,
So
I
if he
love
had just had that mindset too, maybe we'd be talking about a different story.
In the last game that ended in double overtime, they were, Carolina was getting contribution from everywhere. McGinn with 2 goals, Martinuk with 2 assists, Trocheck with a goal, and obviously the play of Nedeljkovic in net. Guy's been an absolute stud. 39 saves on 43 shots agained.
Where did this guy come from?
Why can't Buffalo find these guys?
Where's Ned Flanders been hiding this whole time?
Exactly right.
I know Mrazek, I know Reimer, right? He's down there.
Yep.
Where the hell did this guy come from, and how is he this good?
That's not even the story of the game. It's the fact that Juicy Saros had 58 saves on 61 shots. 951 save percentage that game really, kept Nashville in a game they probably had no business being in. If you look at the stat sheet when it came to the shots against,
Is he even the Kool-Aid man? He's like the Kool-Aid Goliath.
Yeah,
just fill a skyscraper with Kool-Aid, and that's Juicy Saros. That's insane.
In that game you had Cousins, Johansson. With goals for Nashville, and Kunin with 2. Again, production from everywhere, and that's a team that halfway into the season, not many thought had a shot at the playoffs, and then they came in late.
Yeah, there was a big question at the deadline whether or not they were actually going to be buyers or sellers.
Yeah, Matthias Ekholm was on the block too, and that's. A defenseman that's man, I would love to see him in blue and gold, without a doubt.
He looks good in gold already.
That's right. But pipe dreams, buddy, pipe dreams. So you got Carolina eventually winning that series. We got Nashville taking tonight. What's the score again?
Oh, I didn't give a score, but I think they're going to keep playing it close. I think Juice is going to keep. Juice isn't going to let in more than 3. So let's say 4-2. The 4th being an empty netter, because I think it's going to be 3-2 at some point.
I'm actually going to go in favor of Carolina here. I think they're gonna come out hot, and you're going to see Nedeljkovic get a goose egg tonight, 3-0 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes.
You might have just jinxed him, bro. He might be letting.
No. I didn't say the word. I did not say the word.
You didn't say Macbeth, but you might as well have.
Did not say the word. So that's that. As a goalie, that's all that matters. I did not say the word. So
that's true.
Again, prediction for Leafs Habs tonight.
Toronto. They're just going to pick up where they left off last night, and they're just going to keep steamroll. I think the score is going to be I think 3-1 is fair, unless they really go. 4-1. Fuck it. 4-1 in favor of Toronto.
I'm going to say Toronto too, but I'm going to give another goose egg out to Jack Soupy Campbell. Sorry, Brian Campbell. There is a new Soupy in the NHL, and his name is Jack. So, I'm going to give another stellar performance from Jack Campbell. They tried solving that glove hand multiple times last night to no avail. I even tweeted it a couple times, stop shooting glove side. You're not beating him there. And then they finally went fire blocker and got one by him. But Jack Campbell was an absolute stud between the pipes last night. I think he's going to pick up right where he left off tonight. And they're going to really take control of this series tonight. And
let's not forget, I believe tonight is the first night that Cole Caulfield is in the lineup for Montreal, if I'm not mistaken.
Cole Caulfield was in the lineup last night.
He was last night.
There was a big Hull blocked a big shot right at the end to preserve the win.
Was that the one blocked off his cup?
Yep.
His hand.
I can't remember. but it was right.
Oh
at
wait,
the end
no,
of the game.
that was the shot block in Edmonton, Winnipeg, where it was blocked off his hand.
Yeah, no, he took this one off the shin pads, I believe.
Yeah.
But Hull blocked a Cole Caulfield shot right at the end of the game to preserve the win for Toronto. But with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Let you guys enjoy your night of watching playoff hockey. Please make sure you're following at 2 Goalies 1 Mike for all our live tweets of highlights. We will have both games on tap tonight for you guys. And enjoy your night. And remember, this was brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. Get over Outlet Liquor, and I'm going to make up my own saying here. Don't haste. Why don't you go buy a case? Don't haste. Go buy a case. Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. Guys, signing off here tonight. 2 Goalies, 1 Mike. I am Duane. We producer Steve. Take care and good night now.
See you later.